Hey guys, still here, and welcome back to Victory at Sea. This time, we're first going to open up with the Lexingtons. The game loaded into this shot, and I thought it was really nice the way that the carriers are moving together in a small formation, just the 5 of them. Their escorts, consisting of a couple of cruisers and I believe a battleship or 2, are elsewhere, but I'm going to have those rejoin this task force rather quickly. Let's switch back to the map view. We're near Iwo Jima. We have Task Force 66, which was just intercepting a convoy, and since they've completed their objective, we can now have those merge back with the other fleet. My main focus for today's episode is going to be to take over more terrain in New Guinea. I hope that the cruisers that I dispatched towards this area, Task Force 64, can make that happen. The AA model, or maybe you could argue the lack of AA model, seems to still make life a little more difficult than it needs to be. And as such, I hope that these 3 cruisers from Task Force 64 don't get sunk on the way to Madang, as they're going to be coming under air attack from presumably Madang itself, Lae and Salamaua. I'm going to try and capture all these 3 ports in one go. For now, I cannot call in an amphibious assault yet, but what I can do is raid the place, and that should make the amphibious assault easier. Task Force 60 is going back to Truck Lagoon. This is one of my damaged task forces with the 3 Baltimores. I have a ton of war bonds, 1500, almost 1600. And I think it's time to start producing some new ships. We have a couple of victories queued up over there, so that shipyard's full. Pearl is full. San Diego is full with carriers and cargo ships. This one's full, and this one is full too, although we have 2 Essexes coming off very shortly. This means that I cannot produce any ships at the moment, but what I can do is upgrade Iwo Jima to a major port, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing, so that from here, Iwo Jima, I can also produce more ships, which, especially being it so close to the rest of Japan and potential ports that I might be able to take over, could be a very important location. Anyway, how's the rest of the fleet doing? 56 is on patrol, 46 is the task force that's going to be rejoined with 66, 33 is on patrol, 64 is going to hit that, 34 is missing a ton of aircraft. Let's see if we can resupply those at Manokwari. Am I missing anyone? Yeah, Task Force 61 in Puget Sound. These are going to get linked up with the aircraft carriers, and with those combined, I probably still won't have enough to hit the north and take that back. So I'm going to wait for the other aircraft carriers to come off the line. Once they are, there we go, there's 61. Yep, that's Yorktown and Intrepid. Once those other aircraft carriers are ready, we're going to continue with the push north. Let's see, that's San Diego. That's a bunch of cargo ships. Essex and 16, 25, and a bunch of Baltimores. I'd say about 2 weeks, a little over. And I have 2 more Baltimores and 2 Essexes. And Puget Sound is just producing Oilers. So once these things are done in Puget Sound, we're going to push north with that task force. There's no battleship in there, but that's alright. I want to hit them with an aircraft carrier. So 61 is going to hold here. 46, we're going to resupply at Iwo Jima. And the main focus of today's episode is probably going to be Task Force 64, going to hit Madang. There's a minor port, and the other ones are just basic ports, but so far they're still resupplying the Japanese. And if I have New Guinea back, I can then focus on getting Darwin and Broome. But that's going to take a little bit more time probably. Let's see, 66 is about to rejoin. I hope that these aircraft carriers can get new aircraft, because some of them have lost a couple of wings. Now something else I want to be doing is building a couple of cheap aircraft carriers. And by cheap I mean the Independence class. Oh shit, we're about to be under air attack. Dive bombers, let's switch to combat. With those cheaper aircraft carriers, I can deploy them as a sort of manual resupply ships. Maybe have 2 or 3 indies in one group, one task force. Move to a port that has a lot of supplies, and once we're ready, we can take the supplies from a well-supplied port and manually ship them over. Now let's see if the Fall River, the Helena, and the Bremerton can defend against one flight of dive bombers. Here they are. It's just one squadron. Previously we've seen that the AA doesn't really work properly. I wonder if that's going to be any different this time around. Looks like all the guns are set to AA duty, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that we should be seeing AA go up from the Fall River, since it's the lead ship, right about now. Or at least I rather hope so. Yeah, you can't attack it. I can launch a spotter aircraft, but that won't really do too much. Fuck it, let's launch the spotter. Yeah, the animation is still bugged, because the Fall River didn't fire once, and yet it did take a hit. It lost a little bit of its health bar, and the aircraft flew off without losing anything. So either they dropped from maximum altitude and they didn't actually go through the whole dive bomb thing, or the animation is just bugged. And I'm going with the latter. The animation is just not working. Now the Brits are taking a pretty dangerous route here, pretty much directly past these islands, and as such they're opening themselves up to a whole bunch of fighters, bombers, and well, everything else that the Japanese can throw at them. So far no torpedo boats yet. That could still change. Yep, they got hit again. New supply convoy, that's good. 2 days. Task Force 64 is engaged. Let's have a look. Now, in the last couple of episodes, I have been really critical of this game. And you could argue that's not entirely fair. But I want this game to succeed. And I'm just really frustrated with the way that it is currently not succeeding. It is just not as good as it could be. This thing has the potential to be a really good naval simulator. You could go for all sorts of different scenarios. Maybe they could open up the workshop, allow people to have a mission editor and create missions themselves. Maybe, if you give people enough time, give entire campaigns itself. So far, the game is just so bug-ridden that I don't think that that's going to be happening anytime soon. See, there's the dive bombers again. They flew in, and now they're flying out. I'm not sure what they're doing. Anyway, oh, hello. This frustration with the game is making me quite sarcastic. And it is, again, not so much because I dislike the game. I'm frustrated with the game. Especially because I see its potential. I see what it can be. And it is simply not living up to that. And I still believe that the game can be fixed. It can be better than it is current. But it's not there yet. And I think it is not going to be there for quite a while. I know the devs are hard at work. Don't get me wrong on that. They are definitely hard at work. They're trying to fix as many bugs as quickly as possible. However, it's taking time. We're gonna have to be patient with this game. Now, let's hope that these heavy cruisers don't get their ass kicked by shore batteries. What sort of shore batteries we're looking at? Does the game not tell me anything? No, won't tell me. The Fall River has taken quite a beating. It seems to be the focal point for all of these attacks. considering how extremely accurate the enemy artillery is, I hope that I can get this cruiser to fall back. So the Fall River is going to have to break formation. Look at that, that's extremely accurate. But these things are just bombarding without moving at all. Are you really going to go for that? Please hit the oil storage or the main gun turrets first. The shore batteries are far more important at the moment than trying to hit... I don't know, is that supposed to be an airstrip? Fuel depot? Not really sure. They're still firing. I'm not exactly sure what this is. This is dry dock? I think it's dry dock. Maybe one that you can submerge, have a ship move in, and then it gets pumped empty. And you can do your maintenance on the ship. Come on, Fall River, get your ass out of here. Keep going. Helena and Bremerton are going to have to take up the slack and do most of the damage to Madang. How are you still being hit? Jeez, are you for real? Looks like it's taking severe damage. And not just hull damage, but also damage to the primary system. So it is starting to move quite a bit slower. But I think it managed to fall back far enough that it's no longer taking fire. It seems like the fire's been switched to the Bremerton. Come on, give me the port. These shore batteries can sure take a beating. How much damage does the port take? I think it's about 30, maybe 25% left. I still have plenty of ammo left. Alright, let's switch back to combat view, or the bridge view. Now let's have a check-in with Task Force 46, because 46 did encounter a couple of Japanese groups nearby. There was a large asset that the Japanese had deployed here. A couple of battleships, 2 aircraft carriers, something like that. Let's do a little of a scouting run here. Now, Truck Lagoon was finished producing a couple of ships. So let's see if I can get a couple of Indies built. 165 each. Alright, let's start working on one. I don't need to upgrade them either. They're just going to be a sort of cargo ship, if you will. 60 should be getting repaired, and once they're repaired I might actually join them up with 64 to provide more firepower here. And with it, hopefully take over these ports a whole lot faster. And for the rest it's just, well, waiting, I guess. Let's go for an amphibious assault. 34? Oh. Hold on. Whose aircraft? From Madang? Holy crap, that's a long way. What sort of bomber are you? Because I don't even have range to at least reach that place. Interesting. 34 is immediately jumping to defending itself with fighters. I wonder what sort of bomber that is. There we go. Madang taken over. Captured. Oh, good. This is excellent, because with those war bonds I can now get a couple of additional Independence class aircraft carriers built. Come on, where are you? Where are you? Here you are. 2, 3, there you go. Good. So that was Task Force 64 completing its mission. Let's repair those as much as possible. There's still a little fuel left, little rations. No shells, unfortunately. 64. Oh, sorry, wrong task force. 60. Still not being repaired. They're still not quite at truck. I still need to do a bit of resupplying and repairing on this task force. Let's see if we can liberate the entirety of New Guinea. A couple of torpedo boats here. At least the Fall River survived, that's a good thing. Alright, task force 46. Oh, right. I keep forgetting that these ports, Iwo Jima, do not have any sort of aviation fuel. And with it, that means that the aircraft are a no-go. Now there are 35 cargo ships inbound. Here comes one of them. 4,000 fuel, no aviation fuel. Shit. These guys are going to Tinian. Tinian's not really a high priority port. I'd say mid at best. Guam, same. Iwo Jima is going to be the core. Let's check the ports. Manokwari. No. None. Palau Islands? Maybe. I might be able to use this, because it is quite close to the Philippines. Rabaul. Rabaul is currently set to high, and it has 51 cargo ships incoming. Is that necessary? That many? Oh, hello. I'm gonna have to tackle that threat first. 3 DDs and a light cruiser. Let's check the lineup. These are all pretty old aircraft. Not ideal. I have a fair amount of war bonds. So let's get a couple of Helldivers built. And then swap them out for the Catalinas. Because they have a far better chance of actually killing off the enemy aircraft or the enemy surface group than the Catalinas. So, where are you guys? That's a Dauntless. Here's a Helldiver. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Strike. Midway has no aviation fuel. Oh, right, it's a surplus port. I'm gonna say it's a middle priority, because somehow eventually a couple of ships seem to pop up here every now and then. Surplus, surplus, surplus. Madang is mid. No, Madang is none. Midway is mid. Port Moresby is none. Guadalcanal is surplus. Correct. Tulagi is none. Iwo Jima is high. Tinian is mid. Agreed. Truck. I'd say truck is still a priority port, simply because this is a shipyard. And that could also make it a fairly powerful staging ground. Let's see, I'm going to have one of these set to none, and Guam's going to be mid. Rabaul set to high, no. Set it to mid. Kavieng is a surplus port. Yeah, works for me. These guys are being repaired. Let's check back in Midway. Where are they? Here they are. Combat view. Let's see if we can actually see our own dive bombers go in for an attack run. I wonder if they're going to be any good, or if they're going to be doing the dive bomber shuffle again. It's a little erratic the way that these aircraft are going, but sure. I do hope that all of these aircraft squadrons are going to be picky about their targets. I don't want them to hit the same ship, because these could probably sink the whole group and not need any further airstrikes. But if they all go for the same destroyer, That would be a big waste of assets and resources. Now, don't touch the controls and just see the camera. And let's check in if these guys are actually going to be doing their airstrike. Previously, they sometimes did and sometimes just refused to. Akatsuki, Kuma. What? Whoa, what? Yeah. The animation is still bugged as fuck. Because I saw those things at, what, an altitude of 3,000 meters? 3 DDs in a cruiser, and the time acceleration was set to none, so I was just doing this at 1x speed. Next moment, all ships are dead. The animations are just fucked at the moment, so let's not focus on those. I'm going to be doing much more from the bridge view, because the other view just simply cannot be relied upon. Which is really sad, because I like the way that you can see the ships and the planes interact with each other, but at the moment it is just not working. Now, Task Force 46. We know that there's an asset here to the north, but we might be able to take over Okinawa. Let's send out a couple of dive bombers to go on a bit of a scouting run. Come on, 46. Looks clear. 6-4. Yeah, Fall River and Bremerton are looking good. Okay. Another convoy. That's not a whole lot that I can do anything about. These are not my DDs. They're the British DDs. And the Dutch East Indies. Yeah, so that's not something I can really fix. I want you to recon this place with 34. And the other task force that got heavily damaged, they're being repaired, I believe. Yep. Okay, good. Moving on. Task force 46. Here you are. Keep scouting it out. I don't want to get jumped. Despite the fact that this is by far the most powerful task force I have, considering that it consists of 5 aircraft carriers and 3 battleships. 3? Yeah, 3. This task force should have no trouble fighting anything that the enemy might throw at it. And yet, I still want to be a little careful. Okay, Pearl has another supply convoy done. Let's keep building more supply convoys, especially tankers. 1, 2, 3. I hope that the tankers are the ones that are also supplying my ports with additional aviation fuel, because that seems to be a little bit of a bottleneck at the moment. Okay, that's being scouted, that's being worked on. 56 looking good. I'd say that's something for the escorts to handle, not so much the aircraft carriers themselves. It's just a convoy. Carriers. Whoa. What the hell? What the? Okay, so now the interface is bugged, because I cannot see the box where my ships are supposed to be deployed. Bloody hell. These are the escort DDs? And the cruisers. You're supposed to be part of that too, guys. Indianapolis is your lead ship. Somebody point me towards the enemy. There you go. And the carriers are at a safe distance. Jesus, these escort groups are really far away. Way further than I'd expected. Where's the... I guess the escorts were pretty stretched out. They were like all over the place. McDougal. What sort of ship are you again? You a Fletcher? No, you're not a Fletcher. Respectfully, could you engage? Oh, you're not in range yet. So we have cargo ships that outrange destroyers? Really? Oh, and not by a little either. What the hell? How about your torpedoes? Are they not manned? Hold on a minute. McDougal. Torpedo launchers. Turbine systems are damaged. Repair that. Port torpedo tubes, starboard torpedo tubes. They are operational. But for some reason I can't click them. Right. I wonder how this is going to end for the McDougal. Like, what the fuck? Okay. New plan. You guys are going to be a separate group. The short-range ships. Baker Squad. Engage the target. I don't really care what sort of formation you're going to be going in. Just make sure you get close enough to actually do some damage. Okay, we did sink 1, 2, 3 ships so far. Not thanks to the destroyers. It's the cruisers that are hammering away at these cargo ships. Not too accurate either, I might add. There we go. See, on the one hand, I think that this is not very interesting to watch, just hammering another convoy. On the other hand, I'm worried that if I don't actually pay attention to it, that somehow this convoy is going to sink a destroyer, a cruiser. The AI sometimes seems to be quite generous with the way that these cargo ships can do damage. And I don't really like that. It's highly unreliable. Okay. Can Task Force 64 engage this yet? Let's assume no for certainty. 60 is being repaired. In that case, 34 might be able to take over Ambon. Unless we can take over Okinawa. I'd say that might be a strategically more valuable port. And again, I think that there should be a button in the game that says just scout out or do a combat air patrol. Because at current, I always manually have to start sending out scouts. Which I sort of get, because it makes sense, you have to manually do this. On the other hand, I'm thinking, well, that could be managed a little bit more efficiently. And this is unfortunate. The enemy is sending 2 destroyers, a cruiser, a light, and a heavy, towards Iwo Jima. And Iwo Jima only has 7 6-inch guns. Fortunately, it seems that Task Force 46 might just be on the edge of operational range for the aircraft. I'm not going to look into this, I'm just going to have them take it out. Oh! There's the other group, near Okinawa. Okay, that's good to know. Five, 6. 6, 1, still waiting for the carriers. Go for an amphib on Ambon. I need you to hit these before they become an issue. Which could happen rather soon. Oh, Iwo Jima is capable of sending out aircraft? Interesting. 60's been attacked? What the hell? How? What? Which port or airfield has such a range that it can engage ships at Truck Lagoon. That is really impressive. I mean, if I have, let's say, a bomber at Truck Lagoon. This is just going to be a test, just to see how far a B-29 could reach. Because that's by far the best range I have on a bomber. That can only come in from Leh or Salamaua. Or at least that's what my bomber can reach. Still, how the fuck were they attacked? That's really weird. Also, I'm not exactly sure how Iwo Jima is sending out aircraft, considering that their aviation fuel is depleted. This is either another bug, or it's, again, quite unpredictable. Okay, there's another convoy. Let's first have the aircraft wipe out this small task force here. I think that this air wing should be enough. More cargo ships. Take them out. Cargo ships are not particularly interesting to kill, but they do give me war bonds. And war bonds give me more ships. Alright, so it's 2, 1, 2, 1. 1, 1, 1, 1. Now for the rest of the flights to come in. One, and 1. Yep, they're still alive. You might have to hit them again. Six, 4. It's doing quite a bit better. Flow River's looking good. Are you not sending out air? You're not sending out air power. Okay. Oh, we did lose a destroyer in the previous encounter. Oh, whatever. I know it's not a very nice thing to say, but I don't particularly care a whole lot for my destroyers. .34 has engaged the enemy. Yeah, it's just a couple of cargo ships. You'd think 34 could handle that. But then again, I might be wrong about that. It's like the game doesn't quite know where Task Force 34 is, even. .46. .46 is far more important at the moment than Task Force 34. Because 34 can handle itself against a couple of ships, cargo ships, but these are a little bit more serious. Oh, Iwo Jima is upgraded in 2 days. Excellent. I can start building ships directly from Iwo Jima. Fleet destroyed. Yeah, that would be these guys. Alright, carry on. 4-6. Still 1-1 and 1. Still. There's another big wave going out from 46. I'm again gonna have to resupply 46, especially with fuel. Even though they have half left, I want to make sure that those ships can keep going whichever direction I send them without me having to worry about fuel. Come on, waste them. 1 heavy and 1 standard. There you go, they're dead. Resupply. New supply convoy at San Diego. Excellent. Let's check on San Diego. 2 aircraft carriers. Launched an amphib on Ambon. I could get another Iowa built. Yeah, go. It's gonna take a long time. But they are powerful warships. It's more of a long-term investment than anything else. Successfully occupied Ambon. Spotted in the Banda Sea. Is that our concern? Well, sort of. How the fuck can Task Force 34 do an amphibious invasion that far away? That is really impressive. I had no idea they could do that. Okay, next stop, Darwin. 4-6 is going to be resplying. Contact spotted, that's another convoy. Okay, well, I'd say this is as good a moment as any to pause the episode or end the recording and end the episode with it. So, we know that the Japanese still have at least one pretty powerful task force here with 2 battleships and a carrier. I'm not exactly sure if 46 can take that on, especially with the damaged air wings that they have. I think they will be able to inflict massive damage on it, but just to be sure, I want to take on some new aircraft from Iwo Jima. And as soon as Iwo Jima is ready upgrading, I want to get more ships built there. Now I know that at the start of the episode I said I want to take over Leh, Selamau and Madang. I did take over Madang. These 2 are up next, so that's the next episode. This, that and Darwin. But this is all for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon for the next episode.